2-game, they get the win on Sunset with a 13-10 against All Knights. Welcome back, everybody, to Ascension. And it was a little bit of back and forth once again, but it continues to be the same as we saw yesterday between teams kind of fighting to close it out towards the end, especially for the side of All Knights. But it seems like the advantage the 2-game had in the first half, it was too great, and that way they were able to close it out.
Yeah, this game was so fun, so entertaining, and like huge props to both the IGLs. Like the way they were calling, like it was just insane, out of their mind. Like especially Zap, like huge props to him. I know we mentioned him before, but his calling this game was absolutely insane. Like the mid-round reactions to what AK was doing and basically just countering their plays. It's like he always had an answer, and there always was such a good reaction. I know AK on their defense, their re-clears were so good, but even after they get one pick, 2G was just that much faster just to react. And that's just kind of like what it came down to, was those reactions and that mid-rounding.
Which is something that we were seeing constantly, especially on the first half where All Knights were starting on that defense. It seems like there was a very clear understanding on this type of 2-game of what they were doing, what All Knights were doing, how they had those setups specifically. And that's the way that Gompers, they were able to get away with one of those bigger ecos to shape up how this first half was going to go.
Yeah, All Knights, they've never been very special on the defense, like, to be completely frank. It's always been a struggle, whether it be against Amady, whether it be against Galoris, right? They've never really had a good defensive half, and I feel like it definitely showed here where they did struggle, right? Constantly going for like their repetitions of going for the retakes, which that typically didn't work out, because then you have the aggressiveness coming through from the Neon this game from 2-game, where they really did use it to their full advantage. You got to see everybody on that team just thrive off of the speed and like occasional cheeky corners that we got to see on round 7, right? Where like we got to see Spike just insta 3K. And it's moments like these where you really do get to see the weakness of AK and why they couldn't really pull through in the first half, and honestly just somewhat fumbled that second half as well.
I just also want to mention that we have like the stats on the page. AK had 12 first kills, one more than 2G did. And I just want to go back to what I said when I was talking about how 2G's reaction was just so good. Like they would get picked off, but they wouldn't panic. They immediately had a fast reaction to counterplay being a man down, and they actually won those rounds.
Which is something that the players have talked about on the set of All Knights, understanding where their weaknesses are and the things that they want to fix, and that is absolutely one of them, right? They get the numbers advantage in a couple of these rounds, but then what, right? Is a follow-up of, are they able to capitalize out of this numbers advantage or not really? Because 2-game didn't really make it easy for them at all, and that's how they get this 13-10. It was very close though, to be fair, but it seems like it was all depending on how that first half for the set of All Knights was going to go. When you have a player like Dante Deos that can shine so bright on the attacking side, you need to shut him down from the beginning. In 2-game, we're able to do it in the best way that we've seen for any other team so far in Ascension. But as we get to look at what is going to be that second map, I'm curious on how this Abyss is going to play out, Gompers, because All Knights, they haven't played it since July. Both of the teams were running the same composition with the Jet, but I feel like it would be pretty reasonable to expect maybe a change from them now.
I think so too. Honestly, for All Knights, like, yeah, it is unfortunate in a competitive setting, not playing the game, especially now coming into a LAN setting where it's a very different vibe, very different feel, and you're playing a map that you're not really familiar with at the moment. In a big stage like this. They've definitely practiced it, right? I feel like everybody has their strategies. They put it to the test, this and that. So I'm not going to say they don't have something up their sleeve. I'm also going to say, I mean, can they handle that mental game at this moment on this map?
I will say it's been a while since AK has played Abyss. I mean, I think the last time we saw AK play Abyss was against Reta in the Latin finals, and they lost 9-13. On the other hand, we watched 2G recently play this map the other day against TSM and win 13-9. But I'm pretty sure, you know, AK had the time to watch the match. And because, you know, 2G's played it so recently, they kind of show off some of their strats. So I'm sure AK kind of has an idea on what to expect.
And it's a good way to put to the test the duelists that we've been talking about so much. Sure, but we've seen a lot of clips, a lot of the highlights for Dante Deus on the Neon, and we've seen a little bit of the Jet, but I'm wondering how this is going to play out if they actually continue to play this composition with both of the teams playing that Jet and going against each other. It's very different, especially Sarabon. We've seen how a lot of the times the Jets, they like to go for this approach on the map of Abyss where they are slowing it down, playing with the operator, even on the attacking side. So I'm wondering if All Night is able to slow things down in the same way. Now that we get to see them even on that defensive side, you're trying to find their strengths to see if they can push us to the third map.
Yeah, I mean, even while watching, AK did actually like a really good job kind of counterplaying what 2G was doing. It really just came down to like those final kills. And I think AK, if they just make those slight adjustments or even able to just get the trades a little better, I think they can definitely come out on top.
I think as well, like on Abyss in particular, we've seen Silence play the Jet here before, right, against TSM, and they like carried pretty hard, and that in itself kind of shows like, okay, the map pick, it makes sense within the realm of 2Game. Not only are they running off of that win previously in that last matchup, but like here's where it really does start to get dire. It's not only a situation where, okay, you guys, we've played this map once in the last 3-4 months. But now we're actually going up against a team, actually, I think it was like the last 2 months, but now we're actually going up against a team that is so comfortable on this map in such a quick amount of time. And not to mention Zap's calling and their leadership here, it's going to be a completely different ballgame. And if All Knights is not on their A game right now, honestly, they could just run away with this at this point for 2Game.
And you know what I'm really curious about? To see if they're going to keep that same composition or if they're going to change it to something different. Because Sarabon, one of the things that we've talked about on the map number 1 was the Sentinel players, in fact. And if they were able to keep the same composition on this map of Abyss, and we're going to have a mirror match once again, we would have the same ciphers going against each other. So let's find out. Let's jump into the Blacklight Agents Alive. Let's see if there's going to be anything different for these two teams, or things are going to remain the same.
Ooh, a mirror matchup.
Yeah, it is the same.
I actually really like that Silence is on the duelist now because, as you mentioned before, the ciphers last game were doing the most. They were putting in the work. Tinchoff and both Silence, like they had such huge impact kills, huge impact rounds. And Silence, you can tell that he is feeling confident today. He is hitting his shots. And now that he's on the duelist, I feel like we can just unlock him fully.
I want to see how that's going to play out to Gompers, because when things remain the same, just like in Sunset, you know exactly how the other team is going to play out, especially when you have this very aggressive duelist. So there's a potential to see a little bit more of the reads between the two IGLs once again.
It's the playing field for 2Game. It's their home ground. Now All Knights is stepping into their territory. I think if there's anyone that really can make that transition here, it has to be Dante for All Knights. This is the Dante moment to show that they can just diminish any sort of defensive pressure that 2Game's going to have on this first half.
And it's going to take Dante, but it's also going to take the rest of the squad on the side of All Knights to give everything that they have on this map to get those win and pushes to a map number 3. Let's find out if they're able to do so with their casters is Shift and Wyatt.
Oh, brother. This is about to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it. I mean, both these two teams have results on this map, Wyatt. Again, the results are not convincing. Both teams have had 13 nines, whether they won it or lost it, yet to be determined. So that's kind of what we have to go with, is that there's not a lot of competitive experience in match play on this map for both these two teams. So I imagine there's going to be some lesson learned and a little bit of polish coming over for both squads as they approach this one.
Does that say Abyss or Ascent? I can't quite
I see Abyss.
I guess it's Abyss. It's
Yeah.
tough to tell with the comps. It's literally Ascent. But listen, it's a pretty good comp for this map, all things considered. And it's an easy comp to work with on a new map as well, right? Not
Yeah.
trying to reinvent the wheel, but do something very consistent. And the double initiator with the Soviet KO does offer a lot of consistency as far as the good information that you can gain. You know, that 1-0 point towards, back B at that little top site area on the left just hits everything. So moments like that can be so nice with this comp.
Well, it's going to be interesting, I think, just to see what these teams try to do stylistically. If they want to keep the same identity that we saw on Sunset, I doubt it. But, what do you need for them to actually successfully commit to bursting on towards site? That's, I think, the bigger question at hand here, as Silence will be the one on the jet, just kind of watching two things at once here. Not worried about the jump, more worried about what is poking through Nest. And, well, no information yet as we swap back over towards mid. And at the top side of it, Zap once again kind of doing the same thing, just holding down this mid lane, and he's established that, yep, there are at least 2 members here.
Playing it a little bit safe. Does have that sheriff for the long range, but doesn't want to give his life away for no good reason at this moment. As All Knights, they make their presence known in mid, gather up towards B. Silence as well with the sheriff.
Yeah.
Long range damage on this map is quite nice.
Oh, really good knife. That's going to reveal at least that there are a lot of contestants nearby. So the alert is on. Silence. Going to be paranoid. Same can be said for Spike. Both will back away. Defense now trying to wrap back over. It's Tintrop who's watching the cross, but it's LZ who beats him to the punch. And now the action's actually starting to unfold on the site. Silence wants to fight this. Off the reload. We thought for maybe a moment AK was going to get the better of him, but now the help has arrived, and it's just down to Adverso, who can only find one. That is a bold play for Silence and Spike to actually step into the fight before the rest of the defenders can actually make their way through Link.
Yeah, absolutely. All Knights were really trying to press up, get a lot of space on the map, take the fight to them. Pure confidence from 2G just then. That paranoia comes through, and it was late too. I mean, it's like you said, they just straight up fight, and they straight up win. That's the talent of the players they've got. That's the talent of Silence, who just went insane on this map against TSM.
Yeah.
He dunked on them yesterday, and no doubt, All Knights have watched that game and have tried to do as much prep as you can, but tough to prep for a guy pops a Blade Storm, dashes around, and connects all headshots.
Yeah, I'll say that. Does it on any agent too, mind you. So now you've got an outlaw in hand for Silence. Once again, just kind of watching over towards mid. Tinchoff nearby. Not going to be seen off of the initial. Spy cam was going to be what he's going to use to just keep an offensive eye towards the deep side at backside of mid. And the rest of the attack is going to have to kind of figure things out here, especially with One Way starting to cover these corners.
They're breaking that door from that angle. Yeah, the door. I mean, Tinchoff just gets destroyed on the jump spot. Can't place at the perfect time. Sabando, hopeless, caught out in the open. Of course, it is an eco round, but it is fully fallen apart.
Yeah, there are eco rounds, and then there are eco rounds that find kills. And this is not one of them, at least not at the moment. Over towards this outskirt area at A. 2G well in position to deal with the flood through the front. Just, again, not much they could do after dropping the first 2 in particular. So it's a clean follow-up anti-eco. Now you've got a very full bonus coming in the way of 2Game Esports.
All full armors on the opposite side, playing it pretty smart there with the buy, just retain, or not even retaining, just bringing in classics only so they don't get one shot by the Outlaw of Silence, who basically is guaranteed to buy that up on this map on a second round when you win that defensive pistol. So playing around that is good from All Knights. Actually, Silence has an AWP. They've thrown the Outlaw over to Zap. AWP already, round 3, saving for that pressure. A main, and we'll see will fall back.
Decent attempt, though, for 2G, trying to establish some early aggression. Doesn't really compute to too much, but it does force out an early owl drone, which largely gets covered by a smoke that gets placed beyond this. So defense will hold some significant control over towards A. Orb collected, and Adverso now all of a sudden has a Hunter's Fury, which may be needed, especially if they recognize that the op is in play for Silence.
I mean, Prize is chilling right now. Doesn't even have his hand on his keyboard. Just observing Big Brother mode on the B site. Trip's offering the ability for him to play actually in backside as well. A bit more aggro.
There's a lot of space here at mid, and you know that Tinchoff is going to likely want to see how far his lurk can be allowed to go. And whoa, if he can get through this connection at B Link, it could be massive. But the problem is Silence is watching it. Hunter's Fury comes out. Now Silence gives up the angle. And hold on a second. Now Tinchoff's in a great spot to possibly come around the back of this, but the problem is from the front. Can they find the success to actually get on the site in the first place? The wrap from Tower on the way. And Verso, oh, he does well from the front in combination with Dante on the pinch out. So now it is just down to Silence and Prize on the rotation over 2v4.
That distraction as well from Sabando. The teleport into the smoke. Both guys just trying to get the spray kill on him. Bullets are not beating the target. Dante takes advantage of that distraction. That's nicely handled in A main. And they went against the bonus. Silence not really able to get any value with that operator whatsoever. Yeah, just going to fall all the way back. All Knight's worked the map there quite nicely, and then get that late break on the door for the sudden A split. Zap feeling so much pressure in that moment, playing Heaven right here where Prize was, and all of a sudden is just realizing that he's caught between a couple players. Prize trying to go for this, trying to get a little bit of damage done. Nico goes down again.
I respect it.
That's funny.
Forces out a force buy. Those forces out another repurchase, so. That would have been nuts. Timing would have been pretty close for it, too, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I think you're right, though. Silence, obviously, no impact with the operator, but I don't believe he took a shot. So there may be a level of mystery in terms of, does he have the op or not? You just don't expect that purchase to come through immediately in round 2, or round 3, rather. So that could be a difference maker here, but we have full purchase. A lot of light armor still in play for 2G's defense.
Quick with the drone to gain some control towards B. Oh, now. Do that drone. Coming over here. Silence picking up the deep angle. The op really thrives until he's smoked off.
Sees 1-3, but there's a flash behind this, so Dante will get deep in towards the site. Prize watching for this corner. Shots are not initially clean, but the follow-up off the Shark Dart is beautiful. Silence had taken a... Well, I don't know. Maybe he may have not taken a shot yet with this operator, but he's going to have to soon, because now you got a Verso deep over towards his backside at B-Link, and how about it, Verso? He's already found one already. Give him a second ace on the day. Whoa, mercy.
That was sick. That 2K as well. Crosshair placement was fantastic on the strafe back for the second kill. That second duel one. Also, really thorough with the utility. Were All Knights on that exec. Not just the dark cover to deny the angle for Silence and Heaven, but then 2 follow-up flashes just deny him walking through it with the dash activated. Had no opportunity to get a shot off at all.
Yeah. This is a major return here in the last couple of rounds for All Knights. The operator finds no value, and now you're down to just the sheriffs for 2G. Aggressive play from Silence, not able to land, but once again, you're seeing a little bit of a style change here. 2G looking to get aggressive as soon as the barriers drop. So, you know, this is going to be something that AK is going to have to keep their, grips on as we get deeper and deeper into this first half.
Early on 2, Prize throwing that deep camera in A main. It's a great spot for it. It's tucked around the wall, so you have to fully clear it if you're All Knights. And then with the contact of it, you can swing. But Zap says, that's cool and all. I'm just going for it. Doesn't really work out.
Dante still spraying like he's playing Neon for a moment there. Prize in a little bit of trouble. Can't make anything of it. LZ good for 1 on the response, but it's insignificant in the total terms of how this offense is moving as a plant is on the way. Again, once AK taking some time on this plant, gives a chance for a follow-up. Silence good for 1, and Spike actually able to find one through the corner of the wall. But still, all things told, a pretty comfortable 3rd round in a row for All Knights.
Yeah, a bit of damage done, but at this point, damage is just not of particular significance. The All Knights economy has really been bolstered by this string of round wins. Silence going to get the operator back in his hands. I mean, you have to imagine they're going to try to get it for him. Hasn't found the value yet. And a lot of that due to All Knights really countering his positions effectively with their utility.
Yeah, I will say, I think in terms of how these offensive rounds have looked, in terms of complete cohesion, this has looked better for All Knights than what we had seen on Sunset previously. Good early night from Spike this time. Again, it's still aggressive in nature. It doesn't allow All Knights to do too much because it does reveal 3. So it's a different look, and All Knights are going to have to take the full rewrap back over to see if they can establish even any pressure over towards the A side to move this defense around a little bit.
2G just look fully prepared to play a retake on the A side if necessary. You have LZ playing in Heaven. You're hoping maybe he can get a sly little kill off one of those tripwires and then fall back.
Yeah.
But outside of that, this is all for the retake. Spike does have the null command, so that's a nice counter to the ultimate available for All Knights there. Hunter's Fury.
I just, for play right here for All Knights, they're trying to establish some presence at A. It really doesn't amount to too much. I think a lot of that, as you kind of mentioned, LZ's playing off of a heap of utility supplied by Prize. So it's a 4-man stack on B. No one's even worried about middle. A couple of smokes will come through. Null command also being spent. This is all fake. And 2G, I think, are starting to realize this is all fake as Silence catches a corner, finds the first, tries to catch one over the jump. It does connect for damage. Now it's down to the Blades. Prize spike right there to follow up, and the damage tallied is good for the kills, plus the spike to drop.
Things just getting so disconnected for All Knights with the time dwindling low. I mean, at first, though, and Nico Machine were just nowhere near that hit. Left. Trying to get into B with not an ounce of initiator utility, no real information. They just have to send it in. No flashes to deny an op angle, no deep recon. That's really tough.
And
All Knights just getting pretty lost at the tail end of that round.
It looked like it was a late call of like, hey, let's throw these smokes at a couple of shots, see if we can move the defense over. And I don't think they believed that was convincing enough. And it's last second. You got 30 seconds left. What are we going to do? Let's just fake null command. I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like. And again, because there's trap wires and spy camps around, LZ's just like, all right, cool. Like, I don't need my utility. I've already got plenty around me. So this didn't really fully work out. I think a lot of that is, again, deterred off of what happened in the first 10 seconds. It was a defensive knife that revealed 3. This knife.
One suppressed.
Does get the one this time. We've got a nice little... never mind. I was about to say we've got a nice little op battle. Not exactly. Nico just sends Silence to the grave so early into this round. But Dante does have the operator posted up towards mid right now, playing a passive angle, hoping that someone reveals themselves at that back pillar area.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, yes, Silence drops, but it doesn't really... Well, okay. I was going to say, it doesn't really affect the defensive setup outside of the fact that they have to pay a little bit more attention to what's happening at mid, and as they do that, Dante does catch another. So now things become difficult for 2G, rather. Pardon my stumble, as AK are still taking their time, and it's going to just continue to stretch out this 2G defense even more.
Just playing around that operator as they need to, right? Just slowly allowing the defenders to make the mistakes. And make mistakes because of their lack of knowing that there's even an attack operator on the field at that moment, right?
Yeah.
That's why Zap just feels pretty free to swing their Prize. Will have to go huge right now.
Well, he does get paranoid. Reveal is decent, but Zimondo over the top once again. That's going to feel familiar for Prize. He's had that gunfight twice, and neither times has it felt comfortable or even remotely winnable. So now 5v2. Money's good. So 2G could maybe play for exit kills here if they want to. But it looks like they don't want to. So we'll have a pretty anticlimactic finish here as the spike will detonate and All Knights will go up 4-3.
It's just such a good way to take that A site. If you can really scale forward and apply pressure, get the blind into backside while the Omen TP's on the top box, and you have players swinging from the left, swinging from the bridge, you can just run over the anchors. So long as you can deal with the tripwires effectively, that's really the only thing that can shut it down, right?
Well, I mean, and on top of that, it's, can you survive through all that utility? But at the same rate, the damage you dealt early for All Knights means that it is just one guy there. So information aside, it's still going to feel very comfortable for the offense just to overwhelm a sheer force of numbers. So there's that opening pick, and then here's the follow-up again, just as the defense has to pay extra attention to more spots. So 3 individual kills lead to a very comfortable round. And this is where I think we need to start to see what will be the second kind of back-end play here for the side of 2G's defense. They've shown a lot of aggression on the exteriors of the map right as soon as the barriers drop. Will they continue that, or is there going to be a second look to try to adapt into?
Yeah, they have been so... I mean, particularly Silence has been so aggressive, even on the eco rounds, right? Pushing forward towards this orb, but now has the op again in his hands. Last round was just obliterated by Nico Machine.
Well, they use utility to earn him the angle initially for the peak, but a lot of focus has to come out as All Knights have not shown much. There's the one-way smoke to block off the corner at B. All Knights still not using that as a commitment call. It does force the defense of 2G to respond by getting deeper in towards the site. Good angle here for Silence, and just can't quite snap up to find the one player up top into Nest. And that will be enough for them to say, okay, we know where the op is, let's go the other direction.
And if they do, here's Prize with a setup over on A again. Trips placed a little bit further back so they don't get broken by any shock darts that go too close. Recon nicely timed. That was 2 shots fired.
Hunter's Fury out. Zap breeds the threat. Decent damage to the choke point. Prize will drop, but Zap counters. Teleport across, just trying to stack things up here for 2G's defense. The operator making his move over as Adverso will get the spike planted. This is a deep post plant. And with Sabando holding with an op of his own, that might be enough for 2G to say, uh-oh, I don't even know if we can do much more with this. Null Command's gonna get sped by Spike. LZ important 1v1, which Dante was just not ready for. So now you have to just hold these angles for Sabando and Nico. Adverso's way out of the play, but he's got a Hunter's Fury, and that's going to be called in right now. Spike able to get it to halfway, though. That's important. First tag is in. Trades over the top of the site. Decent, but 2G coming out on top. And hold on a second. Now Adverso's too far out of the play, and Spike will get the free defuse and tie us at 4.
They're just playing exclusively for the Hunter's Fury as a win con, but that's left Sabando just an AWPer in main, in an area of the map where you really need to be able to spam onto the spike too. Just it gets very awkward, very tough. Things overall really got disconnected on that post plant though. Dante just pressed forward alone, trying to find some kind of timing while they're pushing in to win a duel, but had that slow adjustment to try to put the crosshair in a place on LZ. Just nothing really worked out there. It was all disjointed.
I could take it from your candor. You didn't love that post play.
Not particularly, no.
Well, once more, a little bit of early aggression this time through the B side of the map. It does not turn into too much for 2G. All Knights have been fine playing off this slower setup, including not even having the spike in hand initially. And once again, Prize, who's trying to get his feet set over towards A, will once again set up a different position. Spy cam forward, trap over towards his right, prospectively. We'll try to keep him safe from any dashers.
Halfway through the round, Zap sends out the drone for the info towards B, but instead decides to clear into heaven. So Verso fully tucked away from that. And now the counter drone is going to come in. Guys, we're hitting B, I swear. We're not all stacked up in A main right now.
Yeah.
This is where we're pressuring.
Yeah, look at me. Hey, look at this thing. I'm throwing you a recon dart. This is this thing. This is the play. No one seems to care. Paranoia going to get called out here. 30 seconds on the clock. Still comfortable as Prize is going to shake off the effects of the offensive knife. Rotating over his silence. Op in hand. Checks mid, and now he'll be on this corner cross as soon as the dash starts to come through. There's the smoke, here's the dash. Luis inside the site. Spam coming both directions. Luis gets dealt with, though. Nice follow-up from All Knights. Time to come get issue, but no more contest. I mean, the spike will be planted without too much cause for concern.
Spike planted.
All Knights even got a pretty fair rotate there. Great first kill from Silas. I mean, just Sabando dare face that. You really shouldn't. Time to back off. Play the man advantage.
Hold on. Good follow-up from Adverso. Zap just trying to find something through tower. A long lurk, though, for Tinchop. That will be likely the clutch condition if things start to get messy, but Sabando inside the dark cover finds timing onto a free first, leaving Silence by himself. He's traded up into a Vandal. Nico has an operator here. He's going to have to throw shoulders at this, but that's all they need, as Tinchop will be right there to force him off the spike, and All Knights will get their 5th.
Surprised that looked as easy as it did for All Knights. You know, that rotation after the fake with the drone was really slow.
Yeah.
Force in A main, they wanted to wait for Adverso and Tinchop to get into position, and it allowed the opposition, the defenders, to get in position on the site. Crazy that they made it look that easy on the hit. The anchors just could not find any kills.
Yeah, definitely feels like, it's something to be said about, again, different players playing on the agent, but the Cypher has not found any value defensively yet. There's a couple of moments where, it makes the offensive execute a touch messier, but I mean, flat out, we just have not seen the same proactivity and same productivity, rather, I should say, out of Prize. I mean, flat out. And again, it's, different player, different agent, but that was a big difference maker for 2G, especially on their defensive side from Silence. He was locking things down really comfortably on one side or the other.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like Silence has been a little bit afraid to be posted up in main over on A, post that one round, maybe 4 or 5 ago, where Nico Machine just swung him with the Vandal and deleted him with some sick reaction time. But at some point here, I think you need to adjust the op to be playing on that side of the map and set up with the Cypher elsewhere. You know, try to play this site for retake, because anchoring it has not worked out on a single round. Like, I would really like to see the op just posted up there, silence retreats off his first shot, and then, you know, play that for flood, play it for retake.
No, absolutely.
Rather than being stuck in the site and just going down, getting overwhelmed by the attacker util.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is not going to be a round where we see much change for the defense, as it's going to be Sheriffs, a Guardian, and a Stinger. Some long-range action and potential. Silence looks like he wants to get aggressive again just as soon as the barriers drop over towards B main. Spycam is down to try to keep him held back just a touch, but meanwhile, through mid, that's where the first blood will occur. Zap will drop deep, and that's going to force 2G to have to play the backside of the sites now.
And that allows All Knights just so much time now on the clock to slow things down, try to bait out some more peaks, perhaps bait out some more aggression from the 2G that just don't have good weaponry. And you can see just that. I mean, they are just covering every single angle right now.
Okay. Silence able to tally something, but it's something that feels like nothing, as the trade is immediate. So now it's down to a 4v2 action at B. Prize will be completely out of this play. So it's going to have to be Sheriff shots to land. And that timing of the peak plus the paranoia is less than efficient. Meaning this will be probably pretty comfortable for AK. Luis has stayed safe from the knife. And the initial tag off the corner puts him down to critical HP. No worries there. Spike will be planted, and it is just going to be down to Prize of the Guardian.
Planted.
Yeah, just down to Prize, and this round is essentially over. All Knights just continuing to play really well around this attack side operator. They're giving Dante that time to work the map, and 2G are offering themselves up in mid. Twice it's been zapped to find that opening. You know, they've done pretty well when they're hitting these sites fast, but seem to be doing even better, just slowing things down. They're working the map nicely. I mean, working the map more than I expect from All Knights on attack.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect them to just go crazy slamming sites, but a way more patient game than Sunset.
Yeah, I'll say. And maybe, again, this is a direct cause from lessons learned in previous times they've played this map. They only won 4 offensive rounds when they played against Rita Esports. That was back a while ago, to be fair, about a month and a half or so. But still, it's one of those situations. It's the same comp from when they had played it last time around. And like you said, it did feel like this AK team was going to come into this event. One-dimensional is not the right word, but definitely strong-handed towards playing off of aggression and high-tempo offense. It's not been the case, and I think some of that is just like, yo, Dante's hitting, just let him continue to play for picks.
Absolutely. Fast control of A main now. Little combo of that recon and the flash from the KO as well. So some good space taken, as on the opposite side, Dante posted up with the op, just expecting there to maybe be some B aggression that he can nullify. That has been where Silence is opted to push up, but this time taking a totally different angle. Hasn't been posted up here with the operator yet. Backside A.
The thing about it, this has been pretty common for AK. They keep the operator over towards one side or the other, and then they rotate it through mid. This time they won't even bother checking at mid, though. This will be, in certain terms, a bit of a blind hit in towards A, and at the same time, Luis is getting aggressive through mid. Silence watching the corner. Aldrome pushes him off for a moment. That gains the angle now for AK to make their play, and LZ gets figured out at mid. Here we go. Silence is going to have to hit, but as the neural theft gets connected, now it's just down to the sprint over towards B, the defense trying to match it.
Yeah, Zap is getting over there, but Silence is opting to stay over on A, which is going to be the right idea. The re-hit will come in. Doesn't even need to be said, but yeah, he just has to hit. He has to find value here, at least get one.
He's got a friend in the corner. Double smokes are down. It's going to force a quick reaction from Silence, in which he's good for the first. Tries to get the second. What a play! Now the knives are out. Oh, Silence is activated. Unbelievable individual play. The time will expire on this round for Tinshoff, and Silence finally gives the defense something to smile about.
I was wanting that man to set up on A. He did. It didn't really go exactly as I envisioned it. where he just jump peaks like he's, you know, circa Ignition Series 2020 Wardell, just flinging his body from backside and then into the knives. I mean, this guy is just goddamn crazy.
Yeah, this was clean.
That is so sick. But I'm just glad that they finally mixed it up as well and placed the op over on that side of the map.
Yeah.
Make it more difficult for the other team to get in. Again, I mean, not exactly as it intended. And even though I like that push down mid from LZ. He got caught, but he was ready to deal with the potential of a split into A. Someone coming through door, and he was right. Tinchoff was there. He just lost the duel.
Well, the other side of that, too, is, you know, again, timing is becoming a bit of an issue. The neural theft gets called, but someone from 2G has to make the read that they don't have time to go back to B. So, I don't know who makes that. Maybe it's Zap. Maybe Silence just thinks, I'll stay a little while longer. But a pivotal round here before we end in the half and swap the sides. Whoa, jump scare.
Okay, this is kind of crazy. He gets his, but he can't dash.
Doesn't matter. Who needs to dash when you're hitting shots like that? Shut your mouth. Silence is here to play. Nico down, trying to get resurrected. Prize does not have the angle. And all of a sudden, there's a lifeline here for AK with Tinchoff making sure the defense cannot flood in towards backside B tower.
You have to be joking. How can he get away with those swings? How does he not get traded?
Well, here comes the play forward. If there was ever a time for Prize to step up, it might be right here, right now. Dark covers the front side of the site. Here's Prize. Good for the first. Tinchoff with an operator in hand. What can he do? The answer is not much. And it's a 6-6 half with Silent taking over in the last two.
Switching sides.
All things considered, not bad for 2G at all. Silence 15-7 right now. I mean, putting his team on his back in the last two rounds. Pushing behind the box down B is mad. This position, madness. I mean, he should be getting one and dying with the null command pop. Can't leave and can't get traded. What the hell am I watching? The shots from him are insane in that moment. The reaction time has to be just that fast to get away with a play like that.
And if you're All Knights with 4 members spamming that box, like, what is this guy? He must be living in the Matrix. Like, there's no way he's living through this, let alone Define 2. Now, again, the second one essentially gets countered out. Yeah, it slows down the play immediately. And I think most importantly, outside of just the sheer individual impressiveness of that from Silent, the fact of the matter is 2G can fully rotate over because the time left. And now all of a sudden, you've got full defensive setups. It gives Prize a little bit more breathing room. He can just worry about the jump. Everyone else has got a long-range angle lock. Tinchoff is caught between weapons. And that's just, again, late game or late round pressure coming through for 2Game. A lot of it, again, established by Silence right off the get-go.
I mean, it's so ridiculous watching these guys, man. The level of the field this year for Ascension is just so insane. Like, these guys that have been grinding within their regions away from, you know, the global scene, the global viewers that have just shown up here and are playing like this. It's just insane. There's so many players from this tournament that you're looking at like, surely this guy gets into partnership, right? I mean, surely they've earned a spot. It's just, goddamn, this guy is so good.
Yeah. Definitely the definition of a difference maker. Say that much. 15-7. He has more combined kills than 3 of his teammates combined. Unreal. Other side of things, though, again, 6-6 half. I think both sides will look at that and say, all right, not bad. You know, maybe some missed opportunities late there for All Knights, dropping 3 of the last 5, but all things told, I think you're happy with 6 if you're on the offensive side.
Yeah, definitely. It was 2G who won that pistol to start this game off. We'll see if All Knights can keep that even at 1-1. They're now on this defensive side. Tinchoff, similar to Prize, just set up over on B. Those double trips can be so obnoxious to deal with. So many times we've seen that second one, the closer one, get, you know, that trap onto someone, make an easy kill for the defenders.
Smoke will fade. Quick peek from Zach. A second contestant will showcase themselves as Adverso, meanwhile, will win first blood through mid. So now this little battle becomes maybe a little bit more important if there is some sort of elimination. But the focus is all moving over towards that front side of A. Good tags coming from Luis. Sabando in trouble here on Bridge. Damage has been at least asserted in some regard, but now here comes the flash push. And Nico, the rest of the gang, in a little bit of trouble, but the defensive flash lands beautifully. And it completely stops everything from 2G. Prize gets caught from the high ground and nowhere for Zap to go as the pistol gets taken by All Knights.
Yeah, that first blood from Adverso, pretty impactful, just allowing that full control of mid fast rotate through, supporting the anchors on the site, who did a great job stopping that initial push through as well. That delay of the first wave of utility, and then it was just Spike with that one flash to try to get them back through. They did a really nice job with that initial delay, allowing the rotates to come in. So we do go 1 for 1 on the pistols in this game.
Just classics, of course, here for the follow-up for 2G. The anti-eco has the power of the sheriff. Nico in trouble, and okay, here we go. Sabando also in a bit of a mixing spot, or is he? Takes down a couple, and that's likely enough to secure the round. Spike tried to plant the spike, but not going to be allowed to do that either, and that is just another brilliant individual moment, this time from the hands of Sabando.
That second shot was just filthy. He's really in danger of getting traded out there. Oh my god, that was so fast. Looks like some aim lock activity. That is nuts from him. Again, that is just that full 5 classic buy. Teams on this map are just, again, similar to the first half, so aware that if the defenders win the pistol, there is always going to be an outlaw set. They want to get as many full armors as they can. That's going to be 4 of them.
Well, how about this? All Knights, it's not just 1, it's 2 players with an aggressive posture over towards mid, a third on the way. Oh boy, Sabando's gonna block off one angle up top. Paranoia at the ready if he wants to try to push through, but Silence actually spammed through the smoke for one. Dante trades one back, but that's not likely gonna feel like enough. Especially now that you really just have to resolve on your DV side, your B defense to beat this down to 1 player. At least you got the spy cam set up around A, but this is gonna feel very restrictive to All Knights.
That felt very unplanned, like almost a last second. Actually, I am going to walk down mid. Like, there was no one covering top for Sabando. You could see he was like, oh my god, I'm actually getting pinched from multiple angles right now, potentially. Yeah. It was very haphazard.
It was weird.
Now, free sight.
I was going to say, Adverso was kind of in the picture, but as soon as the smoke comes out, and then there's just a spam from Silent, it just completely shuts down any intention of that setup. So, clean follow-up here from 2G. They shut down the bonus and bring us back to within 1. Definitely weird, though, through mid. You're absolutely right.
Few on the round there as well for Zap, who's now 1 away from Phoenix Fury early into this second half. Could have it available for this first round, and it is quite easy for the attackers to get the orbs on this map. Way easier than for the defenders, so no doubt in my mind that they should be playing for one of these orbs and getting it for him, and I want to see if the defenders will be aware of that too. Maybe set a trap play up in A main to explode onto 2G side if they go for it. It will be B though, where they're going to favor here 2G.
Little high ground setup for the defense. Spy cam watching just barely over the top of that offensive smoke. I'll drone through library. Doesn't really see much, but Prize offers some shots for consideration. Adverso, just a desperate shock dart, does land. A little bit of chip damage onto both Zap and Silence, so some value there out of the utility.
This is just a patient, slow walk down, no smoke to them. They just want to take contact. Adverso, oh my god, what a shot. Adverso loves to play a lot of really tight angles like that.
From one to the other, and now all of a sudden Dante has gotten aggressive. This is going to completely isolate this B offense. They have to play this from essentially inside the site. Zap up just around towards Link. Spike down backside tower. Collected by Silent. Plenty of time on the clock, but they will not know where Dante is, and he has re-wrapped back to join his defenders at mid.
Zap now just trying to find a moment to press forward. You can see he wants to even this up, find a cheeky kill and back off. Well, people do so with that paranoia.
Good dart. Zap. He gets confirmation that Dante's playing from the front, but Silent by himself. What can he muster? First one's good, sees the head of Nico, but the angle is won, the angle is held, and All Knights will take the round and go up 9-7.
Yeah, just wanted to take that repeat, beat Nico to the punch, but the reaction time too good from the defending KO. Respectable effort in the 2v3, almost an opportunity for Zap to get that lineup with the spray down. That was fantastic, though, from Dante, finding that pick, but then flipping the map, having that presence in B main as well, just really throws off 2G trying to get in the site. They know they just have to cover so many different angles at that point.
A lot of things to focus on. Knives will come out this time for Silent. Everyone else on a rifle. Hunter's Fury also at the ready for both parties. How do you want to set things up if you're 2G with the Blade Storm? Dart deep in towards tower side, immediately deleted. Adverso, good for the first. That's your knife carrier down. Now the spike is also dropped to the ground, and oh boy, the spaghetti is on the floor. Tintroff up high, good for a couple. A repeat from Dante, but the damage has already been dealt. Nothing to find here as Tintroff will have 3 in the round.
This setup is just too good from All Knights. Multiple players prepared for that. Those close laid trips from Tinchoff finding some serious value. Nicely held. Verso is playing really great on this map. Getting that first blood onto Silence. Nullifying that first man in, the tip of the spear. Everyone else just trying to run up then, and, you know, up that bridge. Pretty tough when you don't have a jet to make the space for you. You are just going to get mowed down trying to get through the smoke, so all too easy for All Knights.
Right into the smoke in the cyber cage, double setup. Just not allowing anything to come through. And that's free information. 2 players will be scouted out by the spy cam, which does get deleted. Just Sheriff upgrades and a Guardian here. And I was about to say on the other side, a little bit more heavy power in terms of the long-range battle as the Outlaw lands for Dante. And you get to see 2G as they start to walk up this mid-ramp. What do we do? I mean, there's smokes, there's traps, there's everything looking at us. It just feels like you're caught in a blender. Spike will get planted, though. Maybe a lifeline here if a couple of the shots can land, but Adverso aware of the teleport. Spike will find 1, but here comes the rest of the defense quickly through mid.
Tay trying to get in. Look at that distraction for Tinchoff to just get that easy kill on Surprise. Light bit of disrespect at the end there.
Hey, 2G can't get anything going offensively. They have had a couple of plants, but it's all been after their initial hits have been largely stopped before they can even muster much of any actual deep action. I mean, there's just no scaling back of sight. I mean, we talked about, of course, the most recent round with the Blade Storm out. Jet gets deleted instantly. And All Knight's defensive setup is working out largely thanks to Tinchoff. Again, the Cypher player has been great. 2 straight maps.
Yeah, he had a slow start on attack, it's just sitting on a goose egg for a minute, actually. But on defense, this B lockdown from him, they have had no answer for dealing with these trips. Haven't really been able to break them with shock darts whatsoever. And his setup is just allowing everyone to play forward, to fight. And there, the flood back in is just lovely. Dante's movement in that situation with the drop down, baited shots, but then immediately updrafts. I mean, that was just really sick. And then he scales forward, cleans up the last kill. It's just small things like that that are really intelligent, but just making every little difference, making it ever easier for his teammates in that kind of situation.
I think the thing about it is, like, again, there has not been any action that has forced All Knights to differentiate what they're doing defensively. And outside of the messy round that kind of happened through mid early, everything else has been pretty perfect. Have not really seen much in terms of consideration in numbers from 2G getting onto site. Adverso's 20 and 10 casually. Tinchoff, like you mentioned, had a slow start, but didn't really need to do too much in the first half. And the difference between the Cyphers is starting to become pretty significant, especially from the defensive side.
0 point for 0 point straight off the jump, and wow, a 3 detected actually, so Spike's now saying, yeah, they are probably pushed up into main. Time to hold just a bit more passive.
Here.
Well, look at the deep lurk coming through. Silent will see one, at least initial attempt for All Night to try to make a play up, but whoa, keep an eye on Prize. He has gotten deep, all the way up in towards Vent. The question is, what can he do from here? I mean, besides just be a pivot point, that's the real issue, as here comes the flush out. Door will be popped open. And what awareness is this from All Knights, but Prize gives himself a fighting chance, but only comes away with one. We'll go 4v4. Follow-up action quickly for 2G. Over towards the null command side of the map, and they will be, again, traded back nicely. All Knights defensively holding on, and I just don't think you can get Spike back off the ground.
No, there's just no way. Feels like this round might just be the nail in the coffin. A lot invested for 2G. Zapazin does get traded out, though. Adverso has just been a rock on defense. This guy is just playing sublime Valorant on the Sova. Really impressed, and I love this decision here. They're just so aware that Prize could be in that position.
Yep.
And Dante, you know, he throws his life away just to get that trade and retain that map control. So when the A hit comes in, they're not getting split. They're not having to divert attention to multiple different angles. And in that same moment, it was Sabanda who got in the smoke, found that timing as well. This is just excellent defensive play across the board. All of the decisions being made are really perfect.
Another three-man suppression. This time the Paranoia is going to be combined with the Hunter's Fury. Defense looking to get things going quickly, and it works out, or does it? 3v3 situation, even trades back and forth. Bit of a pinstripe kill feed coming through, but Luis is left on 5 HP. Neural Theft at the ready for Prize, and he's got bodies to use for it. Hunter's Fury also at the ready for Zap. Does he catch any information to allow him to possibly change things up? Adverso on the corner. Decent look at it. Gives himself a shock dart for separation, and now the knives are here for Dante. Timing could be everything. Gets the initial reset, but no fly zone for Prize. Just down to Adverso. Has one more player at 5 HP, and he'll take them both. A 13-7 at AK. Get us to map 3.
And Adverso on that Zap role play. He has stood up yelling at them. That was just a comprehensive dismantling of the attack. That is some of the best, if not the best, Abyss defending we have seen in this tournament. I would say it definitely was. What is that, 27 for Adverso, I think, to finish that game off? Sick play from him, and Tinchoff's setups were just getting incredible value over on B. Well, that's another little map that we got to consider for All Knights here to add into their pool as this tournament goes on. Teams are going to be scared of taking them here.
No, absolutely. And I think the thing on top of that is we've really only seen one other squad throw Abyss into like, oh, hold on a second. These guys like to play it. And that's TSM, who is starting to look a little bit more out of the picture after their first couple of games in the round robin phase. But map 3 will be now set over towards Bind. Should be an interesting battleground as both of these regional squads fight for a key positional swap possibly in the overall round robin standings. We'll send to a break, have the desk break things down, and set us up for map 3 when we come back.